tonight I'm going downtown. 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 Hey, ain't nothing you can tell me that I don't already know.
Today is Friday, September 27th, and you are listening to In the Core. My name is OT, and I'm one of your co-hosts for this amazing show. And to my right, as always, is my fellow co-host, Swap. Say what's up, Swap.
What is up, OT? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, it's Friday. It's the end of the month. I can't believe school. Was it fourth week of school now?
I guess so. I really don't know.
He's too smart to even care what week of school it is today. We are in our third show. That's a milestone for us. I don't know why 3 is a milestone, but it just feels like a milestone.
Yeah, 3 shows, all going smoothly, good views. We're getting good growth. Make sure you guys like us on Facebook and Twitter, and we always want that feedback. But one person we couldn't do the show without is Mr. Gurveer, producer Gurveer. How you doing?
Pretty good. Team effort right here. That's why we're on episode 3 right now.
Yes, sir. You know, I love these people. You know, Drake's album came out this week, so I'm in my feelings. So, pardon my emotional state. But yeah, we're feeling good. We have a full house today, actually. Swap, who's here with us?
Okay, so we're going to bring in our guests. We got 2 of our valued colleagues over at the Cannon newspaper. The first guest,
shout out to the Cannon.
You guys all remember him for his amazing analytical ability, his history lessons, the fact that he can quote legal cases from like the 1960s. Our baseball expert, Mr. Israel Gonzales. How are you doing, Israel?
Very well. Swapneel, yourself?
I'm doing good. Israel, people were impressed by your analysis last week. What a star was born, I think.
Thank you.
Israel's got his Blue Jays shirt on, and he took off his Yankees cap. Thank you, Israel. I appreciate that. Next to Israel, our special guest for today is our boss, in some sense, one of our bosses. She's the one who checks all the writing before any of this gets out.
Don't fire me.
She's also our lead hockey, NHL, and Maple Leafs analyst and writer. You can catch her articles on cannon.skule.ca. She is the sports editor. Neda, how are you doing?
Hello in the core. I'm doing well. How are you?
We are doing great. Neda, you just released an article on the
Blue Jays rotation.
I did read it. I was trying to remember the title. It was
the Blue Jays autopsy.
I read it too. Don't fire me.
So we called it an autopsy. Does that mean that they're dead?
I think they were dead a while ago. It's just right now we got around to figuring out what happened.
So we're going to look forward to some hockey articles coming out soon. Neda, tell us a little bit about the sports section. What can people expect from it, and a little bit about what it's like being editor.
Okay, well, basically, this is my 5th year at U of T, so 1, 2, 3 plus PY. And since I first came, I've been trying to get a sports section going on in the Cannon. And we finally got the editor-in-chief, Ash Cannon, on board this year.
Wow, I didn't know that. Don't fire me.
Yeah.
He's really worried about job security.
It's crazy. The economy
I'm watching you today.
Just like, damn, I need that paycheck. Wait a minute, go on.
Okay, so we're trying to get as many writers as we can. Right now we have Swapneel for sure, and we've seen him write all of his great pigskin previews.
Amazing. Seattle Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
Are you going to change that?
Do we need to? We'll revisit this, OT, because
you will be on the. I don't think
I won't change it, and you will be on
changing
the floor.
mine. I don't know about you.
On the floor, crying when we look back.
Come on, believe in Frank Gore.
Okay, well, if you guys are done,
I apologize. We tend to get in a rant.
Sorry.
Please don't fire us.
We also have Israel, who's writing mostly our MLB talk. And hopefully OT will be on board. I don't know.
Yes. I'll be doing some NBA come November. October. Don't fire me. Yeah, definitely. I got some in the works.
Okay, so we're looking forward to that for sure. And anybody else who wants to get on board can email cannon@sports.skule.ca and send in an article, and we'll see if we can get you on there.
We are all very tense here, as we have 3 of the writers on their toes, wondering if we're going to get fired after this.
I think you guys are okay.
Yeah.
For now, you're okay.
Okay, so that's about the Cannon, but we want to know about you. We want our listeners to be able to really connect with the voices that they hear. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I guess I'll start with the traditional U of T introduction. I'm Civ.
Oh, you're Civ? Okay, there you go.
I think I'm the only Civ on the Cannon. I haven't seen anyone else around. I don't know what the deal with that is.
Because Civs aren't social.
They are, and you know what? It's true.
Don't. You shouldn't hate on your own discipline, because they're going to listen to this, and you are not going to have.
That's the thing. I'm not sure. They're social, but within the own Civ group, I really don't know why. I don't know if it's a
You're about to get kicked
construction
out.
thing. I don't know if
So
it's
we'll welcome you in Indy with open arms, like
well,
always.
EC's all over the place. I think most of the canon is probably a mix of EC and Indy. So.
NSIDs, we have a lot of NSIDs. No, we don't have any Indies. Me and Ochi are like the only Indies. I don't know anyone else on the canon who's Indy.
I think there's a few contributors who are Indies.
Shout out to the Indies out
Shout
there.
out Indies.
Ooh, shout out to our, sorry guys, I need to interrupt. Shout out to all the guys out there doing consulting interviews. I know it's a tough time for you guys, stressful time. Anyone doing consulting, iBanking, or private equity, I got to give a shout out because I feel your pain, and good luck. Sorry guys, had to do that.
Anyways, back to Neda.
Do you want to drop some names or like?
I can't drop people's names, but you know who you are.
who you are.
Congrats to those who have done big things, but you guys know who you are, and we and I respect all of you.
Anybody else got anything they want to say?
Don't fire us.
I think that's the catchphrase for this episode. Don't fire us.
I got a question for Neda. How did you and if you can figure out how to teach other girls this, but how do you know so much about hockey?
I guess, well, it first starts off with, I was born in Edmonton.
Ooh.
And I moved here when I was, I think, about 2.5, 3. And I don't know if any of you guys have been to Edmonton,
I
but
have, yes.
There's not much to do in Edmonton.
What are you talking about? West Edmonton Mall?
There's
Wow.
not much to other than West Edmonton
No,
Mall.
I honestly think that mall is like the most overrated thing you could possibly do in
It
Alberta.
really is.
But you're like 2 minutes away from the greatest, most beautiful part of the world, in my opinion. What are you talking about?
Well, if you want to go on hikes, but I don't know how many hikes you can go on after a while. You know, you get tired and you come home and I have an older brother who would bring home all his friends and stick me in net and take shots on me when I was about 3 years old. And so that's how it started, I guess.
So are you an Oilers fan or a Leafs fan?
I'm not an Oilers fan. I don't think I was old enough to actually have a team that I was following. I was kind of just watching whatever my family was watching, which was the Oilers. But then when we moved here, I think I was the first in the family to start watching the Leafs.
Ooh,
So.
family drama.
Family drama, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so that's Neda. So Neda's going to be with us today on the show, and she's going to talk some hockey. Right?
Yeah, this is going to be and we've been hearing all about, why aren't you guys talking about hockey yet? Well, the show is here.
We're in Canada.
A lot has happened, and I know I'm ready to go. Neda's ready to go. Israel's ready to go. Gurveer's ready to go, and OT's trying to figure out who Mariano Rivera is. So.
Mariano Kessler. I don't know. I'll try my best. We'll see.
He is the basketball analyst on the show, of course.
Exactly.
Anything interesting happened this week?
Drake's album came out.
That's like the
already?
second time you've said that.
No. But the reason I'm saying this is because as we're recording right now, down the street, Drake is actually signing CDs. So, if you...
So anybody Friday, 6:10 p.m. that's actually listening to this because they won't. So
exactly. That's when we're
Drake
recording.
is signing CDs.
Yeah, so if you don't hear my voice for a little bit, it's because I went to jump in the line, like a freaking groupie. But there you go. If you don't hear my voice for about 20, 30 minutes, it's because I went to join the line for that.
Did you end up buying that Mumford CD?
No, I didn't actually. I only had money for one album, and I ended up buying the Chief Keef album.
Does Chief Keef even have an album out?
He has an album.
No, he doesn't.
Went platinum.
He signed a record deal 2 weeks ago.
He's part of Def Jam.
Really? I know he is, but he doesn't have an album out.
I'm pretty sure he does. The next Jay-Z. Shout out to Chief Keef. Sign me.
Chief
I
Keef
get
is
fired.
becoming a favorite on the show. Gurveer, how about you? Anything interesting happened this week?
Nothing much. Just been out of it. Only thing I'm sad about recording this episode on Friday afternoon is I'm missing Boy Meets World right now. So, isn't it time? My life is pretty interesting right now. So, Boy Meets World on ABC Park.
Awkward silence for a little bit, guys.
This is why we don't get him to talk, because he's going to say stuff like that.
So we are recording on a Friday.
Boy Meets World is a good show. Okay?
We are recording on a Friday evening now as we enter the 6 o'clock hour. Normally we record on Thursdays, but we had to make a couple special accommodations. Nevertheless, I think we're going to have a great show tonight. We're going to talk about hockey, a lot about hockey. A lot of things happen. Even though it's the preseason, there's still a lot that happened. We are also going to talk about some football. OT yesterday, for those of you who are watching, is still alive.
I'm still alive.
The 49ers won.
49ers won.
That's a good thing. And I did pick them to win, as you check in my picks in preview, which was posted this morning, I believe. So check out that. I didn't do so well in my picks last week, but we'll get into that. Another thing is we all went 0-4 in our Game of the Week picks. Except for the man in the Blue Jays shirt, Mr. Israel Gonzales, who did pick the Packers wrong, but he shockingly did pick the Colts to win. he, like most of us should, had no faith in OT as well, and he was right to go by that.
I'm changing my Super Bowl pick.
Congratulations, Israel Gonzales. We also have a little special discussion tribute to the man that OT doesn't know, Mr. Mariano Rivera, and we'll get to that in a little
Basketball
bit.
player? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Cricket. I think it's cricket.
Cricket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to the one guy who wanted cricket on this show. Golf. We're gonna talk. Are we gonna talk? No, we're not talking golf this week.
Well, Henrik Stenson won the FedEx Cup.
And Tiger Woods did it.
Yeah, well, Tiger Woods is still probably going to
So then that should really be the headline. Tiger Woods did not win the FedEx
really.
Cup.
But it was still a good golf season
So
overall.
I know, Neda, you have the mic, but before we get into some hockey talk, I want you to pass the mic over to Israel. So Israel, make sure you get nice and comfortable.
We have mics for everyone on the show, by the way. It's just a metaphorical.
So Israel, how are you doing?
Very well. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. So I wanted to get your opinion because I know we talked about this last week on the synchronized swimming schedule for this year. So what are your thoughts on Canada's chances going into hopefully an Olympic berth in 2016?
Okay, first of all, that was a joke, and second of all, I don't give a rat's behind about synchronized swimming. I probably would care more about like the wife throwing competition and like the air guitar.
We do not
stuff.
support wife throwing of any kind, folks.
Wife carrying.
wife
You win your wife's weight in beer. Apparently,
Israel knows a lot about this.
Interesting. Where does this happen?
I have no idea.
It's got to be Germany if it's
I think
beer.
that's why he wants to get married.
Frankly, I don't care.
Ladies out there, Israel is still wide open, I hope.
Yeah, I am still available.
Wife carrying, wife throwing.
You could get, your weight.
And the air guitar playing championships in Finland, which I have no idea about when they are and whatnot. Ultimately, baseball's my priority. I couldn't care less about Olympic sports, so we'll leave it at that.
This week in synchronized swimming. Next week we're going to take on bowling, as Israel gives us his expert analysis in that. We'll take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a lot of hockey, so stay tuned if you're a hockey fan, or if you're not, we're going to talk about some other things. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out In the Core, brought to you by the Industrial Engineering Club. I'm Zoya, and I'm here to tell you what's new at Indy Club next week. We have a major Indy PY Info Night. This is for all you second year and third year engineering students looking to obtain an industrial engineering PY position next year. We have an amazing panel of current industrial engineering PY interns, an awesome speed networking session, and coffee and snacks for you as well. Be sure to check it out next Tuesday, October 1st at 6:45 p.m. in SF 3201. That's Sanford Fleming Building. For more information, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/IndyClubUFT, follow us on Twitter at IndyClubUFT, or shoot us an email at indy@g.skule.ca. Enjoy the podcast. Until next time, your Indy Club chair, Zoya.
Welcome back to In the Core, and we're excited to have some hockey talk, guys.
I'm excited. Are you excited?
I think OT's the most excited.
I'm the most excited.
In the break, we just discovered
Shout out to
that
Florida Panthers.
we just discovered that OT
Shout out
doesn't
to
know
Florida
who the Florida Panthers are. OT, why don't you explain to everyone who they are?
Who plays hockey in Florida? That's my question. You know what I found out during the break? Is that you could pump gas and get a free ticket to go see the hockey.
We can't confirm that. We can't confirm that. But even though it's the preseason and the regular season starts, the Tuesday?
Next week, yeah.
Tuesday, Toronto, Montreal on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada.
Here.
Everybody tune in. A lot of stuff that's going on this week, and we obviously can't start without talking about the big brawl.
Toronto curse.
The big brawl between Buffalo Sabres and the Toronto Maple Leafs. It started off with, in my opinion, a cheap, I wouldn't call it cheap shot, but cheap attack on Kessel, and then it just kind of turned into nightmare for both, well, not for the fans, but kind of a melee on ice. Ryan Miller getting into it, Bernier getting into it. Guys, what do you think?
I think it probably started with a Devan fight.
That is true. The Devan
That's
fight
where
earlier.
it started. That's where all the problems started. I guess. I don't know. Were you watching it live?
I did not watch it. I didn't even know that. It was, I don't watch preseason hockey, to be honest with you.
I was watching it live, and it was
scout this season.
Yeah. I was watching it live, and it was when the fight happened. I think everybody was worried for Trop for sure because he was like completely woozy, no idea what was going on, and he went off, and then there was a commercial break in between that fight and then when the brawl started, and at the very, very end of the commercial break, you could see when Kessel came on. all the linesmen just skated towards them and they went to break. And you knew when we were coming back from the break something was going on.
So Kessel starts swiping at him with the stick, right?
Yeah.
And
Self-defense.
Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about that. We should talk about that. Was that legitimate? I honestly think it was. My opinion is that it was fine. If someone comes
the
after
first one or the second one?
If someone comes after you and you start swiping at him with your stick, like if you don't want to fight, you shouldn't be kind of forced in. Like I don't know, it's tricky.
If you don't want to fight, then don't do anything that causes.
No, but
I think the first one was okay. Then when Scott's already on the ground, he turns back, and then Scott gets up and he goes up and he jabs him too.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Defense?
I just feel like I honestly, maybe it's because I'm a Leafs fan, but I think Scott was like, you don't go after Kessel. There's some code that you don't go after Kessel.
Everybody agrees with that.
Okay.
I think that you don't go after Kessel, but then also if we got
where
guys,
was Mark Fraser? He should have come and just laid him out. Honestly.
Well, I don't know. I think right when that happened, Carter Ashton skated straight towards John Scott and took him down right away.
Yeah. But I would just like to see Mark Fraser just sit on him. Just sit on him. Sit on him for like a good 10 minutes. Get up. Try to get up. Okay, that would have been... I don't know. That's just me. But Bernier and Miller, wow.
That was crazy. That they had the shot on the brawl going on at center ice. And then I think it was Joe Bowen or whoever the commentator was. He was just like, now the goalies are going at it. And then they panned over, and I thought, they're probably just going to be like shooting pucks at each other or something. But they already have gloves off, helmets off,
all the goalies out there.
ready to go. And I was just like, Bernier's going to break his hand. It's going to happen right here.
Well, it looked like Miller was the one who didn't look comfortable there. And after the fight, if you listen to the post-game interview, it was Miller who was kind of like, well, I don't really want to fight, but because I'm in the ACC, like I'm in Toronto, I got to fight, right? I don't know. It was a preseason game. I don't know what they're doing out there.
I don't know what they were doing either, and the fact that I don't think a lot of people are talking that much about it is because nobody got hurt. Imagine Bernier or Miller getting hurt.
I think the Leafs got hurt. Like we lose. So Clarkson comes off the bench. Right or wrong?
That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Well, you know there's a rule that says the first person who comes off the bench to join a fight gets 10 games. No, the first guy specifically gets 10 games.
So what does the second guy get?
More games.
No, but you're a new player, right? You're coming into your hometown. You want to. The fans don't really know you per se. I don't know. Maybe this is good for him from a branding perspective. Like he's sticking up for his guys.
I don't know. I think we already saw him fight earlier in the preseason. I don't know if we want David Clarkson fighting that much.
Well.
I mean, I hope it kind of sounds like when he talks to the media, it kind of sounds like he thinks that's his role. He thinks he's going to be the protector.
See, he shouldn't be the protector, but he should be physical because that's the only way he's worth that kind of money.
He should be physical, but I think jumping off the bench, that's just
Do you think
dumb.
a brawl like this brings a team together?
No.
No, I totally disagree with that.
They think so.
In hockey, it doesn't. Because fights happen almost so often. It's not like if something like this happened in baseball, like, they clear the benches and things like that, then that's like, okay, everyone kind of
stood up for your teammate. Same thing.
Yeah, even though it's like the lamest thing ever to watch these guys running out from the bullpen. By the time they get to like where the fight's actually happening, it's all done. They got to go run back. Okay, but in hockey, I don't. A little bit, but not that much.
Why do they fight so much? That's just all I want to know. And this is preseason too. Right. I know that's the right word.
The answer's in Florida with the Panthers.
Oh yeah.
I had a feeling. But
I just think the moment where David Clarkson came off the bench, like John Scott was already on the ice. Like I have no idea what's going on in David Clarkson's head when he jumps off the bench.
Because hockey players fight. It's part of the game.
The fight already finished. He's already on the ground, and then he jumps up, and he actually gets on the ice, and you see him for a second. He doesn't know who to go after because everybody's already taken.
That's a tough one.
All right, so Kessel got suspended for 3 games for his.
Kessel got suspended for the rest of the preseason, and then the first.
So is that the NHL saying it's okay to use your stick?
No, 3 games is the first 3 games. That's a suspension, right? Preseason. He didn't whack his head.
I think that's more of a
his preseason. Do you think Kessel needs? Like I know.
No, he doesn't. That's what I'm saying. So it's not really a.
No, but he got 3 games in the action. No, he got suspended for the rest of the preseason, right?
Just preseason. No regular season. No regular season suspension.
You don't even watch
for Kessel.
No, I agree. I thought. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have to.
I don't think. I should
get on that. Check that.
All right, I'll get on that as soon as possible.
But I apologize for all of you guys.
I bring facts, swap.
But okay, fine. So
I think the fact that the Sabres didn't get any penalty other than the coach, there had to be some sort of.
Did Scott get anything?
No, he didn't even get a review or anything. So I think that's why they gave Kessel the 3 preseason because they thought, we can't have this happening, John Scott doing what he did, and then have the Leafs be penalized that much for it.
Yeah, and I've seen worse things than what Kessel did. Like, and I'm not defending him in any way, but like he's got to defend himself somehow. I don't know. I just thought what Scott did was horrible. Like you don't go out there, especially in the preseason. I mean, that's
exactly what are you fighting for?
Kessel's the one who probably pays your salary in some regard.
And honestly, what about Randy Carlyle? Like, why did he send out Kessel?
Yeah,
there was absolutely no reason to put him out. And he said after the game that he was going to diffuse the situation.
So maybe he thought, I don't know, maybe he thought that if you put out the star player, they're not going to go after the star player. So I don't know.
If you want to diffuse the situation, diffuse it with another player who's probably not going to fight, but not your best player. Don't put him out there. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was pretty.
But at least we're talking about the preseason, so that's always, I guess, some publicity is better than no publicity.
Yeah,
I don't think the Leafs need any more publicity.
That is true. Big news coming out of Leafs camp yesterday, I think. Cody Franzen being signed for a 1-year deal. I think it's $2 million, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Not really a bridge contract like what Kadri got, but at least we lock him down for 1 year. He's still restricted after next year, so we still got the first shot at him if he turns into something that we hope that he turns into. What do you think of this deal, Neda?
I think it's sort of, at first, we heard Franzen throwing around $4 million for a multi-year deal. Then he pulled back and said he only wanted a 1-year deal and did not want to go over that because he wanted to prove himself this year and see if he could get the most next year, especially with the cap going up. So, in a way, he did get what he wanted, right? He got the one-year deal, and I think it's not a really big deal what the salary is during that 1 year for him. I mean, 2.5, 3 doesn't really make a difference for him. Leafs obviously had the cap crunch, so that's all they could afford.
Another cap crunch coming too. I think this Clarkson deal that they signed in the offseason really puts them in a tough situation.
That deal, the Bozak deal, I'm not a fan of.
The goal, well, I like the Bozak deal if it means that Kessel stays.
But I don't know. I got the list of unrestricted and restricted free agents coming out next year. So we got Phil Kessel, Dion Phaneuf, Jay McClement.
Okay, so let's stop. Phaneuf should be traded like now if we can.
I don't know. The thing with Phaneuf is because he said he's willing to negotiate during the off-season or during the season.
But do you want to sign him?
Depends on how much he wants, right?
Unless he wants $1 million or $2 million a year, I don't want to sign him. I mean, the guy.
I think people underrate.
I'll take $1 million.
No, that's fine. People underrate Phaneuf, but
don't fire me.
He's kind of outplayed his stay is no longer. It's up. Like we don't want to see him as captain anymore. He didn't deserve the captaincy from the beginning. He's making too many mistakes on pinches. He's not that great of a player anymore. Offensively or defensively. I think you ship him out, see what you can get, maybe send him to a desperate team, get some prospects back, or get a draft pick. A couple draft picks would be nice. And, save some cap room. Maybe we don't have to send down John Michael Lyles at least, right?
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like that's what the Leafs want to do. Both Randy Carla and Dave Nonis sound like they're really big Phaneuf fans. I think just the pure minutes that he eats up, like replacing 30 minutes a night, that's a really big deal, especially when the Leafs are full of AHL defensemen, basically.
Well, Gardner's pretty good.
Yeah, but does Randy Carlyle trust Gardner?
I would now.
I don't think he does.
Now I would trust him.
He does, but even in the playoffs, we didn't see him getting that much ice time.
I know, but Gardner...
It looks like he prefers Mark Fraser to Jake Gardner, which I think is ridiculous.
Well, plays into that style, right? You want to be that one physical guy out there, but Franzen can eat up some minutes now. I don't know. I think we could live without Phaneuf. I don't think life would be over. A couple other big deals. So the Bozak deal we talked about.
Yeah.
He got less than what he was asking for, and I think he got right in the range where I was expecting what he would get anywhere else. So if he plays well, and he plays well in that line with Kessel and Lupul, which I'm hoping it's going to be Bozak, Kessel, and Lupul, but if he plays well in that line, I think I have no problem with that deal, especially if what the rumors are that Kessel is only going to stay if Bozak's there. Then I think it's a good move.
I just think he's not a first-line center. He's not.
Well, who is?
Nobody on the team is.
Who out there that was available this year could fill his role?
That's the thing. I don't think you necessarily needed to get it this year, but the fact that he's locked up for so long.
So who's available next year? There might be a couple guys, but I don't think we can afford them. I don't know.
Especially since we signed Bozak.
I know we drafted Gauthier, who's a center, big center. So he might, it'll be a couple years.
They're still a bit away, and I think that.
And then Joe Colburn in the minor. Well, I guess now he's up, but he's a center who might show up. So I think Kadri is probably going to move up to that top line. Hopefully,
I think on that top line they really need a big centerman. It can't be somebody like Kadri. It can't be. I don't think Bozak fits that role. They need a big, tough centerman who can just create room for Kessel.
I just don't know if we'll be able to get that. And if we can't get that, let's say that person we can't get.
Yeah.
Isn't Bozak a decent replacement?
I don't know. I think there's points in the season where you can't even see him on the ice, Bozak.
Time will tell. So we talked about Clarkson a little bit. What do you think of that, though? Do you think that was a good signing?
I think it was okay. I think people are overexcited about Clarkson. We saw him taking pictures with Wendell Clark at the beginning of the season. I think it's one of those players that the Leafs always get.
This reminds me of the old days. This reminds me of the Owen Nolan deal.
Exactly.
Joe Nieuwendyk, Eric Lindros. They really
get so excited over some guy.
Jason Allison.
Grew up good Toronto boy. And
Oti's laughing because he's still trying to Google the Florida Panthers.
Where does he know this stuff from?
I think he's probably going to be a bit of a disappointment. I think that people see him scoring in pretty much only one season, and they think that that's his skill level. They think he's going to come in and score, 20 goals, and I don't know if he can do that.
And even if he can, is that worth how much we pay him? You got the numbers right.
I think
$8 million? No, $6 million.
He's got a 5.25 cap hit.
So 5.25. That's still a lot for a guy who's scoring 20 goals, and one would assume that he's going to be on his decline halfway through that contract.
Yeah, and it's the same cap hit as Joffrey Lupul too.
Yeah, and Joffrey Lupul's an all-star.
Well, he's also got a lot of injury problems. Came into the preseason already with back problems.
That is true.
I don't know how much we can look at Lupul for the rest of his deal.
Probably the biggest question, and I started off hating this trade, the deal for Bernier, and I think we gave up Fratton and Scrivens. Shout out to Scrivens, he's my boy. Fratton,
He knows him personally. We assure you.
Fratton, he was a good player. Again, I just don't know after what Reimer did in the playoffs last year if we needed Bernier. But looking at it now, watching Bernier play now, and Reimer's playing okay. He's not playing bad. He's playing pretty good for what we're paying him. Bernier, we're not paying him much either. It's like a 2-year deal, I think, and after 2 years, you see which one's turned into your star, and if one of them does, you ship the other one off. You get some good stuff back. I think I'm just worried about Reimer because he had the whole thing about everyone not kind of trusting him, and then he gained our trust after the playoffs, and now all of a sudden we're bringing Bernier. I hope him mentally he can stand up to that.
I think Bernier is a question mark. Reimer's a question mark. I don't trust any of them at this point. I think everything that happened in the playoffs last year, you just can't count on. It was a short season, and then everyone got really excited in the playoffs. If you play well for a few games, people will remember those games. I don't know if we can get that much out of Reimer going forward. So I'm happy that we have Bernier. Now, I'm not saying that Bernier is 100%. We don't know anything about Bernier either. I mean, he hasn't played
we had a little bit
a lot
of
games. He's
been pretty good in the games that he has played. Let's put it that way.
In the preseason?
No, even in LA when he was back. He did start a fair number of games.
Yeah, in junior, there was a lot of hype around him in junior. Mm-hmm. I think that he's a completely different style of goalie, right? We see him, I think he reminds a lot of people of Ed Belfour. So he's got the great lateral movement, he's got the great puck handling skills, and the rebound control, which is what Reimer has problems with, right? So I guess we'll see what happens. I think they're going to be going back and forth for pretty much the whole season.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup to watch. But aside from that, Leafs look good. I think we're in a better spot than we were last year. Defensively, we got all our guys back. I don't think Morgan Riley's coming up. I
think maybe he'll be up for the first. I think it's 8 or 9 games, and then I don't know if he'll stick around. It might be another cap problem.
Yeah, that'll be tough. Yeah. Getting Boland, I think, shores up the back end a little bit. So now down the middle we have Bozak, Kadri, Boland, and because we got rid of
Gorowski too, right? So of whoever, any of those fighters.
Jamie Clement, maybe.
Yeah, Jamie Clement.
Okay, so I like that. I like that down the middle. You got Kessel and Lupul on one wing. On one line, you got Van Riemsdyk
and Mason Raymond. You haven't talked about Mason Raymond.
So that's an interesting situation there where he kind of was hoping for a long-term deal, multi-million-dollar deal coming out of Vancouver, and then no one gave him that deal. Showed up at least tryouts, looking desperate for any kind of contract, and played well. And I think everyone can say that he deserved the contract he got, but it's not an overly crazy contract, only $1 million. So I think that was a good signing by the Leafs.
Yeah, I think that's a great deal. I mean, it's a win-win scenario. Doesn't really hit the cap that much, and he looked great in preseason.
Yeah, so we have
super fast.
We have Dave Nonis showing the old with Clarkson and showing hopefully the new with Raymond. So let's talk about some of the other stories that are going on in the NHL. So the biggest story from the offseason has to be come draft day, where I was watching the draft. I was sitting around. I did some of my research that I'm doing here has to do with hockey, and we kind of predicted what the draft would look like. Blah blah blah. So that's really paying attention to that. And Gary Bettman in New Jersey, by the way, comes to the mic and is like, "I have a trade to announce," and everyone starts booing him because they always boo the commissioner. No one really ever cheers the commissioner. And he says, "I think you're going to like this." So then, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what happened? Small trade, maybe something that has to do with New Jersey. They traded their pick. I don't know. And he says, the Vancouver Canucks have traded Corey Schneider. I almost fainted. To the New Jersey Devils. I think it was for their ninth overall pick, something like that. Anyways, Vancouver selected Bo Horvat, who is a amazing, in my opinion, going to be one of a solid two-way center. He's got all-star potential. I don't know if he's got superstar potential, but definitely all-star potential, and a really good ad for the Vancouver Canucks, but you're giving up Corey Schneider, of course. And on the flip side, everyone turns quickly to at Strombone1, which is
you have to explain that
fantastic.
To OT.
Which is Roberto Luongo's Twitter account.
I knew that.
And OT, even though OT's not, by the way, Luongo used to play for.
I was going to say used to play for.
Who do you used to play for?
Vancouver.
No, your favorite team.
Who did he play for? The team that you
Florida
just discovered.
Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to the Panthers.
So Luongo now, everyone's looking for it. Now he has to start, and he was under the impression that he'd be gone for a while, but now he's going to start in Vancouver.
Is this awkward?
Is this awkward? A little bit.
A little bit.
And what's even more interesting, another twist in the story is, I think this happened before the draft, but Vancouver Canucks fired their head coach, Mark Crawford.
Yep.
The Rangers fired their head coach, the world famous.
Sorry, Alan Vigneault.
Alan Vigneault. Why did I say Mark Crawford?
Still going Mark
I don't
Crawford.
know.
Gurveer, do your job.
Oh, sorry. Okay. No, I honestly thought we were back in 2005. So it's my
No,
mistake.
but okay, I don't know where that came from. Yeah. Anyways,
well, Mark Crawford.
No.
wasn't the
I
coach
mean,
in-
I don't know
sorry.
where I pulled out Mark
Oh,
Crawford.
How do you think Pat Quinn's doing? Not that.
What?
Pat Quinn.
Isn't Pat Quinn coaching somewhere now?
No,
he coached at Edmonton for a bit.
Yeah, then he got fired again.
got
Or he retired, whatever. He's like,
Hey,
he's like 80 now,
He's
isn't he?
no, he's not.
Oh,
he's
he's
younger
old.
he's younger than Scotty Bowman.
Oh, he is?
I think he is.
Okay, never mind.
See?
He
Looks older.
Okay, just I got to reminisce on Pat Quinn for a bit now. So you can't bring up Pat Quinn without me thinking about like the two black eyes. Like those were good times. Pat Quinn, the greatest coach ever to coach a game. Don't kill me, Scotty Bowman. But yeah, so New York fires their head coach, who's the outspoken John Tortorella. If you guys haven't watched HBO 24/7, that's hilarious. And even more hilarious is Tracy Morgan's parody of that. So OT, I know you know Tracy Morgan. You can watch that. He gets fired, and Vancouver hires Tortorella. New York hires Vigneault. Luongo tweets, this is before he still thinks he's getting traded. Please keep me here. I'll sign for nothing or whatever. I'll be a backup. I don't have to start as long as I get to sit in every torch presser. And little did he know that he would get that wish, that he's still in Vancouver. So what do you guys think about this whole drama?
I think it's just hilarious. Like, it's hilarious. It only could happen to somebody like Roberto Luongo. I really don't see it happening any other market with all the controversy that's been around Luongo. I don't understand how they would keep him.
See, if he had just stayed in Florida, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, but then he'd have to play for two new owners who we don't know, but 2 new owners in Florida. Just FYI.
I think it's just going to be great to see him and Torts going back and forth in the post-game scrums, whatever. He's going to say something on Twitter, and then they're going to ask Tortorella about it. He's going to get upset. It's just the whole season is going to be a distraction.
So Vancouver TV, whatever, their TV deal probably just skyrocketed because of those 2 moves. But the question, I guess, really is did Vancouver get enough for what could be a superstar goalie in Corey Schneider? Is Bo Horvat going to be what? Could they have gotten more? Now, I know they went going to Edmonton asking for like one of their big guys, Taylor Hall, Eberle, and I think they kind of were hoping for Yakupov. It never happened. But I even think that getting Horvat is probably better for their team than getting Yakupov.
I think it depends on when they want to win. You know, like their window's closing with Sedin, with Kessler. It's they need to win in the next few years. So I'm not sure. I think maybe if they would have gotten somebody from the Oilers that would have been able to help them right away, it would have been a better deal for them.
That's a fair point. Schneider is now going to New Jersey, and after backing up one potential Hall of Famer, gold medal winning Canadian goalie, he now has to back up probably the greatest goalie ever to play the game in Marty Brodeur.
Okay, yeah. Now, Neda had a controversial opinion here that's saying that Brodeur could actually be the backup.
I don't know about backup. It's going to be like a 1A, 1B situation. I think Corey Schneider's going to get more starts than you guys think.
Okay, so Israel, get on the mic. And I bring Israel in because he, for some reason, likes the Yankees. I don't know why he likes the Yankees, but let me pose to you a question, and hopefully you guys can figure out where I'm going. Would Girardi throw in some random dude as closer for Mariano Rivera this year?
Well, does he have a choice? Rivera's gone after this year, so I mean, his best bet is inserting David Robertson. But
would he?
Would he? Well,
would the Yankee faithful just absolutely destroy him if he did?
Well, the Yankees faithful aren't going to destroy him because they're not going to have Rivera anyway next year. So at this point, first of all, we don't even know if Girardi's going to stay in New York because the managerial post in Washington is opening up because Davey Johnson's retiring. So
Israel, give the mic back to Neda. You ruined my point.
Okay, I don't think that's a fair analogy. First of all, I don't think Rivera at this point in his career
Shout
is
out
the
to
level.
Israel for always giving us amazing content.
Did you see that baseball segment, people? Shout out to this guy.
So my point was, though, that you have the greatest of all time. It's like the Packers not starting Brett Favre in his final season, right? They probably should have gone with Aaron Rodgers, but they didn't because he's the greatest ever. Likewise, New Jersey is going to sell tickets by keeping Brodeur and having him have his farewell tour.
I think it's a whole different situation. I think he's going to get those starts that, he's going to get the first start of the season. They've already announced that he's going to get that start. They've already announced it.
Yeah.
They did.
His dad. Right.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So he might have like obligations and stuff.
Right,
But
right.
that's just the first game.
Okay, well, before that happened, they did announce, I think he's going to get those marquee starts. But it depends on how he plays. If he plays well, then yeah, he's going to get more
still a
starts.
good
But I
goalie,
really think
though.
he is a good goalie,
Yeah.
but so is
Wasn't
Schneider.
it 2 years ago when he took New Jersey to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Yeah, but I don't know. It totally, I think it's going to be a game-by-game basis. It's going to be how he's going to be playing throughout the season and how Schneider plays. Schneider was pretty much, better than Luongo last year, right?
I don't know about that playoffs.
Well, none. In the regular season. In the regular season, we
Even like
saw him.
I'm still a strong
over.
proponent of Luongo. The only thing that Schneider has going for him is his age.
26?
Thank you, OT. Florida. Google him.
OT schooling us all on hockey right now.
I still think Luongo might be as good, if not better, than Schneider in net, especially if you give him a full 82-game season to play.
You just called him a potential Hall of Fame player.
Well, that's because of what he did in the past, right? But we're talking about right now.
He signed until 2021.
Yeah, I know, but there was once upon a time a guy named Rick DiPietro who signed like a 17-year deal. Doesn't mean that he's good, right?
That has to be the most ridiculous contract in sports. Rick
Thank
DiPietro.
God. I think Kovalchuk signed a deal like that anyway.
Yeah, but at least Kovalchuk, you can see he's a good player. Rick DiPietro was a mediocre goalie.
Speaking of ridiculous contracts, Robinson Cano is going to be a free agent at the end of this season. $305 million asking price.
I know.
305?
$305 million.
I know there's going to be someone who's saying, why are you guys going off topic? But we have to listen to this. $305 million for 10 years for Robbie Cano.
How does that? What does he do again? Hit a ball?
The magic. That's the magic. That's the magic of his agent, Jay-Z.
He'll make more money than Jay-Z.
Is he? No, I don't think so.
$305 million?
Jay-Z's balling.
Jay-Z's not a billionaire, dude.
Yeah, but three. Okay.
Well, but if this one goes through, I think everybody's going to forget about Scott Boras.
Oh yeah. If the Jays sign Robinson Cano to $305 million, Israel, are you going to burn your Blue Jays T-shirt and just give up on them 100%? Because I know I will.
No, actually, I don't. First of all, I don't think.
First of all, you'll have to check your Rogers bill because I'm sure that's.
Yeah, it's going to go sky high. But first of all, I'm not with Rogers, so I don't care. And I don't think the Jays are going to sign him. The Jays have always been squeamish about these big contracts. So, but suppose they do. Let's assume that they do for fun. That would be good. Our second base situation isn't very good, so that would definitely plug a hole.
Sounds good. Okay, so a little baseball interjection, and we will talk more.
We're teasing you guys.
We're teasing you guys, but I like the fact that good comparison, right? 30, and I don't know how we got onto the.
The contract.
You were talking about the contract with Luongo. Okay, so back to Luongo versus Schneider, and we'll wrap up on this point. Luongo plays in Vancouver. They're still a playoff team, right? They got the Sedin twins, Kessler. They still got a good team. Schneider plays in New Jersey with not so much of a good team who just lost what the Leafs supposedly gained in Clarkson. So do you think that if the Devils aren't likely going to win the Cup this year, why would they not start Brodeur?
That's the thing. I think it depends on how they're doing. If they're doing well, they're probably going to look to Schneider more because Brodeur's already said, I think earlier this week, he said he's not going to be a good backup because he doesn't practice at all. So you can already tell he's not going to be happy with being a backup. So if they're doing well, then I think it goes past keeping Brodeur happy and it's really who's playing better. But if they're not doing well, then I guess they're going to, try and appease Brodeur a bit more and give him more starts.
We will have to wait and see on this topic. I still think that Brodeur's going to start, but we'll keep our eye on it. Moving on, another big topic this offseason, the realignment. And Gurveer, give us the breakdown on what we mean by realignment.
All right, so realignment. So this means there's still an Eastern Conference and there's still a Western Conference in the NHL. However, there are no longer 6 divisions, but now there are 4 divisions. There's 2 divisions in the Eastern Conference made up of 8 teams. One is called the Atlantic, the other one is called the Metropolitan Division. And I believe it was pointed out during our little break that when Crosby was told the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to play in the Metropolitan Division, he just laughed. I mean, Metropolitan is a very funny name, and you got to admit that.
I wish they brought back the old Norris.
Norris might be, yeah.
Yeah, those were the good names.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like those are names I feel like they have a bit of history to them. It feels like hockey fans can rally around that. I mean, hockey fans, they love their history, man. You got the original 6. Some people talk about the expansion 6. So having good names like that reflect the history is better. And then on the Western side, we got the pretty traditional names. You have the Central Division and the Pacific Division, and they're both made up of 7 teams. And they're also going to change how the playoff structure is this year. So instead of doing straight 1-8 and 1-8 in each division, there's going to be 3 teams from each division that are going to qualify for playoffs automatically. And then from that, there's going to be 2 wild cards from each conference. Who's going to fill out the 7th and 8th spots in the playoff race. So we're still going to get 16 teams in the playoffs. It's just the way we get to that is going to be a little bit different.
So let's talk about who's in these divisions. So let's start with the Atlantic. Who do we got in the Atlantic group here?
All right, in the Atlantic we got Boston, Buffalo, Detroit moving to the east, Florida, Montreal, Ottawa, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. So
listen to this: Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Boston, Detroit, Buffalo.
Wow, impressive memory, Swap.
Amazing. Okay? Amazing. Like if any of those teams play each other, it's a must-watch game. And then you have Tampa Bay and OT's favorite team, Florida. What are they doing in that division?
We're going to make our picks soon. Just watch. There'll be some surprises.
They're kind of close to Atlantic Division. That's all. That's
Where are you going to put them?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, can't you put them in the
Metropolitan Division.
put them in the Metro?
Yeah.
Bring up the rain. Well, I guess you got to bring up the Islanders because no one cares about the Islanders, right? And bring up maybe.
Bring up the.
I would say Pittsburgh, but you probably want to keep Pittsburgh
That's
with.
the thing, and you want to keep the Islanders with the Rangers.
No, you don't. Nobody cares about the Islanders. The Islanders are going to be sold by the time we hit 2020, so they're not going to stay there.
Moving to Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's just because they probably lost the lease on their contract with all those 17-year deals.
Yeah.
So maybe my guess is they think that one of Florida or Tampa Bay or Carolina is going to go down, and we're going to have an Atlanta-type situation, and the recipient of that team is going to be Quebec City. And maybe if maybe this is a foreshadowing that we're going to get a team in Quebec or we're going to get a team in Markham. Shout out to Markham.
The GTA Center. Come on. GTA Center.
I'm rooting for Markham as long as they don't raise my taxes. If that's the case, then okay. Thank you, Gary Bettman. Good job. You've finally shown that you care about us up here in Canada, and I approve that. Otherwise, I don't know what you're thinking.
Well,
imagine the gas mileage or the fuel cost that the
Florida Panthers
and the Lightning are going to have to spend.
Well, yeah, but I think also a big reason is that you got Tampa Bay and Florida. So a lot of those fans are you got Canadian snowbirds there in the winter. So you're going to get a guaranteed fan base when the Leafs come down for 4 or 5 times a year. Even when the Canadians come down 4 or 5 times a year. Maybe even the Senators 4 or 5 times a year. That's so many days filling up for them.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
No, and if you look at the map, how it looks like right now, there's no other real way to split it up so that you keep the big rivalries together, and you don't have the big travel. I mean, I think that the Leafs are going to have some travel going down there, but they're going to Florida. I'm pretty sure they're all happy about going there for a few games.
I don't know. All I know is that maybe with those two teams in our division, we can guarantee some wins up for the Leafs.
Hey, shout out to the Florida Panthers.
Who's in our favorite Metropolitan Division?
All right, in the Metropolitan Division, you have the bustling metropolis of Raleigh, North Carolina, and then you have Columbus.
Hey, shout out to Raleigh. Hey, they got the home of UNC.
Yeah, actually not UNC, it's NC State.
Where's UNC then?
UNC's in
Where's Duke? Isn't Duke there? Why are you questioning me, Gurveer? I could fire you.
Oh. Don't fire us, like OT says. Sorry.
He says it in such an uncool way. I don't get it.
All right. OT, you want to say it?
Don't fire me.
Okay.
Okay, back to Raleigh. So.
All right, yeah. Then we got the largest city in Ohio, Columbus. Then you have New Jersey.
Wait a minute, hold on. The Blue Jackets are in the East?
Yeah, the Blue Jackets are still. Actually, 2 teams moved.
Okay, so you take the Blue Jackets, you put them in our division.
Yeah.
And I know I'm interjecting you, but we take the Blue Jackets, you put them in our diviin, and then you put Florida in their division. What's wrong with that?
Well, I think it's a part of it.
That huge rivalry between Columbus and Buffalo, right?
I guess that is a rivalry.
I think then Tampa Bay and Florida would be split, and that would be kind of weird too.
Who cares? No one goes to those games anyway. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, but if the Leafs are playing around those games, they'll go. Anyway, yeah, so then we got the New Jersey Devils, the New York Islanders, the New York Rangers, the Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh, and Washington.
Okay, it's a good division.
Yeah.
But I still don't agree. There's nothing really to argue on that division. Division alone is fine. It's just the fact that... Sorry?
Other than the name?
Yeah.
Metropolitan.
Well, it makes sense. Other than, even Raleigh's a big city. I don't know. What else are you going to call it, right?
I think the population of the Atlantic teams put together is more than the Metropolitan.
No. New York alone? New York,
yeah,
Philadelphia, Washington... those 3 alone, New York is 10 million people, right?
I think somebody did the calculation.
So let's think about this. We'll do it roughly, okay? So Buffalo doesn't have a lot of people, right?
Well, yeah.
Ottawa doesn't have a lot of people.
Yeah.
Detroit is losing people fast. Who else do we got? Toronto's got 6-7 million. Montreal's got maybe 4 or 5 million, I guess. I don't know. So those are the only, Montreal and Toronto are the only 2 big cities.
And Boston.
Oh, in Boston, yeah. But even Boston's not that big. If you put them up against New York,
Yeah.
they're not that big.
But that also depends on where you define metropolitan area. Like, you say Boston represents all of New
No,
York.
like we mean the metro area, not
Yeah.
the... Okay, fine, even...
Yeah, then it just depends on how big you think a team's reach really is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, then Toronto's reach is like
It's like...
India, Australia. Okay, who's in the West?
All right, yeah. Then on the West, we have in the Central Division, you have Chicago, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Nashville, St. Louis, and Winnipeg. So a big move, Winnipeg finally getting into the Western Conference.
No, that makes sense. And
Yeah.
you get to play against the Canadian teams. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's fine.
Yeah, that division pretty much probably makes the most sense so far. And then you got the lastly we have the Pacific Division. So we have Anaheim, Calgary, Edmonton, Los Angeles, Phoenix, San Jose, and Vancouver.
Yeah. That way. So you put Vancouver in that division. Like, I'm wondering if you put Vancouver in the other division.
Well, yeah.
To keep the Canadian teams together, but whatever. That's fine. Like, it's not as bad as the only real thing that stands out to me is this Tampa Bay, Florida situation. But okay, so we got new divisions. I'm happy because I get to watch Toronto, Detroit, and I don't know if any of you have tickets. I don't, but my buddy did get tickets, so jealous
To
of
the
him.
Winter Classic or just
to the Winter Classic.
Oh, man, to the Winter Classic.
To the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
So you get a ticket for the OHL game and the NHL game. So anyways, guys, it costs like $500, but man, I'm happy that Toronto and Detroit are finally in the same division and same conference. Kind of sad that Detroit-Chicago split up because that was a good rivalry, right? Other than that, I think we're still in good shape. Any thoughts on the realignment?
Do you guys think it's fair that we have 2 divisions with 7 teams and 2 with 8?
Well, figuring that 2 of our teams are Tampa Bay and Florida, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But
Well, if they
Don't
want...
talk about Panthers like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We love the Florida Panthers here on In the Core. Well, yeah, I think
what's he even wearing? Is that like a shade of orange? No,
Yeah, it is.
Not really.
I got this in
Okay.
Florida, actually.
What's up?
I
Really?
got this in Florida, yeah.
Good for you, man.
All right. Shout out to Florida. Anyway.
Just about the Panthers, if this Tim Thomas thing works out, they've got a shot.
No,
Or
they
at
don't.
least like some inkling of hope.
No, if you said that the Lightning have a shot because they have St. Louis,
St. Louis is still getting old.
McKinnon,
And they got rid of Le Cavalier too.
Well, nobody needs Le Cavalier because you have Stamkos and McKinnon now.
Okay, yeah.
Was it McKinnon or Drouin? Someone help me out here.
Sorry, man.
Are we all blanking on the
We
draft?
love the Florida Panthers, but we can't remember their names.
No. Who went? Okay, McKinnon went number 1 overall. Where? The Lightning, right? No, he went to Colorado.
Oh,
Yeah, so Drouin. Okay, fine. So you put Drouin and Stamkos on the same line.
And Hedman.
Yeah, that's a pretty good team.
They're not
right?
a bad team.
Florida, did they take Barkov or Seth Jones?
They took Seth Jones. I
Okay, so
believe.
Florida, I wouldn't say they have a chance, but they won't be a bad team. Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
like the difference between Tampa Bay and Florida. I mean, let's suppose the Tim Thomas thing works out.
Mm-hmm.
Florida may not have stars, but at least like if they have good goaltending, they can kind of manage. Because a couple of years ago they weren't bad. But
No,
the
you're
thing
right.
with Tampa Bay is the goaltending situation is just awful.
That is true. And
It-
maybe you tank another year and you get another goalie. I just thought about this. At least we'll get to see our good Markham boy, Steve Stamkos, come back to Markham, or at least every now and then. Sorry, guys. Repping Markham today. Last week we did all this Brampton talk. I was kind of jealous.
Beat down.
Yep. We got the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Come on.
Okay. That's nice. But you also created someone who doesn't know who the Florida Panthers are. So
But he's
Let's-
now their biggest fan.
we got to wrap up the hockey talk soon, or else the basketball fan in the room is going to get mad at us. Let's wrap this up with some new rules that we've been talking. Neda, you have the new rules that we
Yep, I have a list of new rules. Let's start off with smaller goalie pads. So the smaller goalie pad is going to be the part that starts from the knee up. And I think most goalies have about 9 inches there, and that's going to be brought down to about 11. So that means if you go down, they have 11, it's going to come down to 9. So if you go down in your 5-hole, it's going to be about 4 inches of more space there.
So
I don't know, we've already seen...
So we did this before, right? Didn't they do this post-lockout where they dropped their pad sizes, or am I mistaken?
I don't think they
I feel
did
like they
that.
dropped pad sizes after the lockout.
Or maybe I think they may have been grandfathered.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. I honestly, I don't remember. But this is across the board, they got to adapt to it right away. And in the preseason, we have seen a few kind of funny-looking 5-hole goals, and you can tell that the goalies have not adjusted to it yet.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, I think next we got shallower nets. I think that was a good move all around, just because it's just extra space, right? If you just move in the nets, there's more room behind the net.
Yeah.
You might see more wraparound goals.
What's the downside to shallower nets? Anyone think of anything?
Oh, the upside, like you just said, right, is wraparound goals. So
I don't think there really is a downside. That's probably the
Good
best
move.
the best thing they could have done. Video review on high sticking penalties. That's a big one.
I don't like it.
You
Don't
don't
you
like
think
it?
that it'll take up a lot of time?
I think they're only going to use it on 4-minute ones. So if there's a
Ooh, if the
cut
guy's bleeding.
and they didn't call it,
But-
then they're going to
okay.
go up and review it.
Why don't you just call it if there's a cut? How else?
Well, I think it's because it's a time thing, right? They have to do it right away.
No,
If
but why
there's a
don't you
whistle,
make
they
the
don't notice it. They don't.
Why don't you make the rule if there's blood, it's a penalty?
Yeah, that would make too much sense. I guess
Start
there's
cutting
also
themselves out of-
are men playing this sport or are kids playing this sport?
there's also a lot of
OT,
embellishment.
basketball? When was the last time you saw something like that? Okay? Or soccer, even worse. Israel, I'm looking at you.
I think they also the main thing is they want to get rid of the embellishment on the high sticks. That's
Yeah,
the big
for
one.
sure.
So hopefully that'll happen. Next, grandfathering in visors. I think if anybody's played at least 25 games without a visor, they can continue on. But everybody coming in, mandatory visors for everybody.
Someone needs to call Ty Domi because he's going to have some words about this rule.
I think it's because everybody's already playing with them in junior, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal for people coming in.
That's true, but if I'm some guy who fights, then I'm not taking my gloves off or something. Like, I don't know. What do you do?
I don't know. You can't take off your helmet either,
Yeah.
right? So there's the other rule. Taking off your helmet, extra 2 minutes before a fight. We've already seen guys taking off each other's helmets, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a change to that rule. I don't know. What do you think about the helmet?
I don't get, like, okay, that makes sense, right? The helmets are, if you take them off, you are at risk of concussion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if you leave them on,
Face
you're at
bleeding.
risk of a broken hand.
Yep.
So what's worse, a broken hand or a concussion?
Don't fight.
I don't think that's how the fighters are thinking, right?
Yeah, I agree, but I'm coming back to the visor rule, and, like, I don't know. I'm sorry, keep going.
It's also like it's a 2-minute penalty, not on top of the 5 minutes. It's going to be 7 minutes overall. So it's not like there's going to be an extra guy in the box or anything. It's not really a deterrent.
So then, it'll be a 2-minute minor, though, right? So they will
Yeah.
be on a power play.
No. They go 5-on-5 for 7 minutes.
Or they go 5 on.
5-on-5 because it's offsetting.
Why would it be offsetting if the other guy didn't?
Well, no, if it's both guys.
Okay, but what
Because
if
usually it's either both guys or none of them.
They both take their helmets
Yeah,
off. Okay,
because
yeah.
it's if it
So
comes
what if
off
I'm one
during
guy?
the fight, then it's okay.
What if I'm one guy? I take my helmet off, and then the other guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take my helmet off. You go in the box."
I think that breaks the rule, you know. I don't think we'll have any fighters doing that. I think most of them would prefer to get the helmet off, and I think most of them have said that if they don't do it before, that's the first thing they're going to go for when they actually start scrapping. So I don't know. I don't think that's a good.
Scrapping.
good-
Toronto. You went to high school in Toronto?
I did go to high school in Toronto.
No, you said scrapping.
You
You're supposed to
didn't?
fighting, so I'm just
What?
like,
You went to high school in Richmond.
Oh, Richmond
That
Hill.
doesn't count.
Does that count as a
No,
separate city?
I went to school in Markham. I'm proud of that. Okay, I state my city.
Brampton.
be town.
Okay, next we got a couple more. We have no tucked in jerseys this year.
This is a stupid rule. OT, give us your fashion sense. By the way, guys, I don't think we ever mentioned this on the podcast, but we should have. The other day, OT was wearing a
Polka dot
shirt.
It's my favorite shirt.
I don't know if you know if anyone has any fashion advice, but if you saw this shirt, it was somewhat
It was
of a
amazing.
disturbing look.
It was amazing. I got looks on the street from like women, girls,
That's not necessarily a good thing.
females.
What kind of looks were you getting?
The one
No,
female
it's
on
actually
this audience is calling you out. Okay, so give us your fashion advice on the pulled out, on the rule to not tuck in your jersey.
Well, you see, athletes work a lot on their lower bodies. You know, they do a lot of squats. You know, and being forced to not being able to tuck your shirt. It means you can't show your. Can we say this on the show? I just said this on the show. I shouldn't say this on the show. I said
Keep going.
All right, go back to
Here.
it.
You know what to do.
All right, we're not a PG-13 podcast, okay? So that's not making the air. Whatever OT just said.
No, I think you can beep it out, right?
Yeah, all right, yeah, I'll bleep it out.
Beep it out. I'll show you how to do it.
All right, yeah, good.
Okay, so any more new rules?
The hybrid icing, that's the one that they're testing right now in preseason. And I think after preseason's over, the players are going to rule on it, and we'll see if it makes it into the regular season. The hybrid icing, it's not really a race to the hash marks because it's a judgment call. So even if it's not tied and the referee thinks that the other guy's going to make it, he can make his own judgment call and see if he wants to whistle or not.
Another stupid rule in my opinion, because the only time when, like, if it's clearly icing and the guy's not going to catch him, then we don't need the whistle.
Exactly.
When you need the whistle is when it's a race, and that's when you get the injury. So I don't know what they're thinking about that one
and
either.
I think that's, again, it shows the same thing that the NHL usually does, is they kind of want to do something that sort of seems like they care about player safety, but it doesn't really do anything.
Ooh. She just did.
So that is the hockey segment for today. Let us wrap up the hockey segment before we talk about some other sports with getting some... We'll just do some Stanley Cup picks because I don't know if we have enough time to do the whole shebang. But Neda, who do you have? Give us your East, West, and then your
You're putting me on the spot.
champion.
This is not totally
And I want number of games. I want the series. I think I'm going to win in 4, I'm going to win in 5, 6, like all that stuff.
So wait, East, West, and then Stanley Cup Final and the series. Okay, let's look at the East. Well, I'm going to break it off by the divisions first. So in the Atlantic, I think we're going to have Boston at the top. I don't think Detroit's going to be able to be as good as we all think they're going to be. So we're going to have Boston at the top and at the Atlantic. In the Metropolitan, let's go with probably... I think Washington's going to do really well this year. I think they're going to be a bit of a sleeper pick for me. So let's go with Washington. Also, Mikhail Grabowski in Washington. So we have Washington, Boston in the East.
Interesting.
In the West, let's look at the Central. The Central, I think you still got to put Chicago at the top. I still think they're the strongest team there.
Good choice.
And in the Pacific, let's go with Los Angeles. So we got Los Angeles, Chicago, Washington, and Boston. That's my 4 division picks. And then, do I have to narrow it down?
Yeah, we didn't ask for your 4 division
Narrow it
picks.
down? Okay, East,
No,
I'm going to say, let's do Boston over Washington in the East. And let's do Chicago again in the West.
So
And it's
Boston
gonna be
versus Chicago,
final.
and
again,
who wins?
Again, I think we're going to go with Chicago.
By in how many games?
Probably, I think 7.
7
That
games,
sounds like
Boston,
7
Chicago,
games.
the rematch. Gurveer, who are you
Classic.
picking?
All right, I'm going to keep it short. I'm just going to say Pittsburgh pulls it out. They got their depth, so I'm going to say Pittsburgh over Chicago, who returned to the finals in 6 games.
Ooh, okay, Israel, who you got?
Okay, so Eastern Conference. I guess I'm going to go by the divisions just for sake of clarity. I agree, Boston for the Atlantic Division. I think this is the class of the division. It's the best team. Detroit, they're a good squad. Yes, they've added Alfredson, but the reality is this is a team that tends to just come up big in the postseason when it matters the most. And all credit to them, but during the regular season, lately they haven't exactly been the dominant team, and that's in part good. Metropolitan Division, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, definitely. I mean, they are way too talented to not do it. And frankly, I think they'll knock out Boston this time.
Mm-hmm.
Western Conference, Chicago's the class of the conference. I mean, they've demonstrated that they can be a dynastic quality team. Now, as for San Jose, they'll probably tank in the postseason again, but I think they'll win the Pacific. And Chicago's going to win the Central.
And who do you got winning the Cup? Who do you got in the Cup, and who do you got winning the Cup?
Well, in the Cup, I got Pittsburgh and Chicago, and frankly, my gut says Chicago, but I want to say Pittsburgh in 7.
Okay, so we got Boston, Chicago, and Gurveer said Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
OT?
San Diego.
OT, we'll give you let's give you a list of teams so that you know who's playing.
So what does this say? No, just kidding. So let's see. In the Atlantic, let's close my eyes and pick one. Tampa Bay. Metropolitan.
You went against your Florida Panthers, really?
You know that's a very big rivalry that you guys don't even know about.
That is true.
Let's see. Metropolitan. I'm gonna close my eyes and pick. I'm gonna open my eyes and pick the Rangers. I heard their name before. I think they're good. Central. Let's see. So we have Winnipeg. Just because. And then Pacific, I'm gonna go with. Damn, I said San Diego before. San Jose. All right, and in the Stanley Cup, I have San Jose versus Toronto. And
You didn't pick Toronto to...
All right, I'm just messing around. Chicago seems like they have a good team this season. Shout out to Israel for pointing that out to me. I say Chicago over San Jose in 6.
Someone please tell me why that's... So you know they play in the same conference.
They do. They don't. They don't. Oh, they do. Okay. All right. So Chicago over Toronto in 6.
You picked New York to win. New York and Tampa
one
Bay.
team. Just pick one.
One team.
New York or Tampa Bay. Pick one.
Pittsburgh. What's that cool guy's name? Crosby. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Is he back? Okay, he's back. No concussions anymore? No concussions anymore.
Gurveer, I don't know what you're going to write down for that.
Everyone's in tears.
Okay, we got to hurry this up. I got Detroit in the East, LA in the West, and Detroit takes the Cup final in 6 games. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, wrap the show up, talk some NFL. OT's got us Blitz. We're way over time, but that doesn't matter because it's a good show, so we will see you in a bit.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. I'm Luke, the production editor for The Cannon. When you're done listening in, check out all our other content at cannon.skule.ca. We have big news for you this week. We've just launched our newest section, Arts and Culture. This section was created with the idea in mind that engineers are defined by an enormous range of talents and interests, and not just the discipline that they're studying. Give it a look, and if you're feeling creative, submit your own pieces to arts.culture@cannon.skule.ca. We've also got lots of articles from different sections that you won't want to miss. Be sure to check out our piece on the Blue Sky Solar Racing team, our opinion article, Apathy is an Insult, and our column piece, This Summer in Science. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Welcome back to In the Core after quite a lengthy but much deserving hockey talk, and probably the funniest moment on In the Core ever, OT attempting to make Stanley Cup picks. He still hasn't got it right, but I think he picked Pittsburgh in the end.
Yeah, he picked Pittsburgh.
Was it Pittsburgh? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I picked Pittsburgh.
Shout out to San Jose, though, because he gave him some love.
Surprise team of the season, I'm telling you.
Okay. We're going to get into some NFL talks, guys. Pigskin preview is up on the Cannon website for Week 4, even though Week 4 has already begun with the 49ers and the Rams last night. 49ers winning. I think
Boring.
It was 35-11.
Boring. It was a bad game.
Let's talk about last week where we all miserably failed.
Except for me.
Well, you were 1-1. So.
You were 1-1, so I don't know if you can be proud.
Miserably failing. Okay, that's like... Okay, that's not bad. Okay, compared to you guys, that's pretty good.
So let's go, Gurveer. Give us an update on the standings. So I'm now 1-2. I'm 1-2.
Yeah, you're 1-2, and then I'm also 1-2.
OT's 0-3.
Yeah, OT's 0-3.
How's that even possible?
Yeah,
we picked 3 games total, right?
Yeah.
I'm 0-3?
Yeah, you picked the 49ers. No, sorry. In Week 2, you picked the 49ers to beat the Seahawks.
They didn't? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, guys, so you're not only bad at hockey, but you're also bad at football, which you claim to be good at. So the question really should be is why are you on the show?
Watch. Go.
And Israel is now 1-1. So we have 0-3, 1-2, 1-2, 1-1. Neda is, of course, 0-0.
So we're tied for the lead then.
There you go. Well, she's undefeated, so I guess she takes
Swap,
the
why are
lead.
you on the show?
Well, she hasn't participated, so like technically.
Wait, Swap is 1-2?
I'm 1-2.
Yeah.
But in my actual picks, I'm 12-4 and 8-8. So that's a
My
combined
actual picks, I'm 16-0.
That's a combined 20 and
20 and 12. That's not bad. 20 and 12 on
Okay,
the
let's
Cannon.
get into it.
Okay, so I'm 1-2. Other teams that are 1-2, the Packers, the 49ers, they're 1-2. They're not 0-3, but should they still be panicking?
I think the 49ers don't necessarily need to panic. They did win
Against St. Louis.
against St. Louis. You know, not a huge test, but still a decent team. Kaepernick just needs to, settle down, find his playmakers. They need to gel more as a team, and Frank Gore was finally able to put up some numbers this week, and that clearly showed in the big win this week.
Well, yeah, I think a team that I'm going to pick that should be panicking is the Minnesota Vikings. Losing to that Browns team, a depleted Browns team, was just terrible. I mean,
if you're a team that sucks to start with,
yeah.
When you lose, should you be panicking?
But I guess
Or should you be happy that you forecasted?
Yeah. They did make the playoffs last year.
And they got Greg Jennings.
Yeah.
Greg Jennings overrated.
I just think it shows that they have
Did he
nobody
play for your
on the team.
Packers for the
Overrated.
last 10 years?
We didn't need him. Okay, we don't need him now.
He's hurt. Swap is hurt. Bummed that Drake album. Nothing was the same. Go on.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, it's just clear that they need to take this offseason and like completely revamp this entire team. I think they thought they had some pieces here. They don't, except for Peterson, and they really need to save. They really need to save face for the entire franchise right now.
Our friend from El Salvador, who do you think should be panicking right now?
New York Giants.
Oh,
0-3
yeah.
start. They got roughed up badly by Carolina last Sunday. This team just doesn't look good. Nothing is gelling, and yeah, I mean, I guess you can excuse losing the Manning Bowl, but losing to the Panthers,
Yeah.
38-0 is very sad.
That was. I thought it was a typo when I saw it.
it was pretty bad. I mean, I saw the game live. It was bad, and that's why the Giants should be in panic mode.
So I guess Eli Manning's no longer elite.
Well, to be fair, the O-line was probably no support that game.
38-0.
Yeah,
Don't blame
The
the
guy has won 2 Super Bowls. I don't think this season matters. I don't know. The Packers, and I know it's a homing pick, but I'm going to say the 49ers as well. These two teams, 1 and 2, these are Super Bowl contenders, if not favorites, in the NFC. And the Packers haven't lost a game to a bad team yet, but they haven't beat a good team.
Exactly, right? You have to beat a good team to be seen as a Super Bowl.
And the Bears are now 3-0. So
Bears are 3-0.
They're 2 games ahead of the Packers. The Lions are, 2-1, I think. We got to get... We were decimated by injuries.
We?
The Packers were decimated by injuries.
Oh, exposed.
Starks. I'm not going to hide it. This show is not neutral.
So, does Green Bay need Greg Jennings back?
No. Because wide receivers were fine, right? Cobb is fine. Finley needs to learn how to catch the ball, but even he had an injury. Starks had an injury. Clay Matthews went down last week with the hamstring. I think he's okay, though.
Eddie Lacy. I don't know if you want to talk about him.
Well, come on, man.
He was the starting running back.
Yeah, but James Starks is better than Eddie Lacy, so it doesn't matter when
you guys had a rookie,
Franklin, right? He was okay. He wasn't bad, but even he got injured, apparently, at the end of the game.
He fumbled, so I think he's faking that.
And I don't know, we need to really get back on the course. Hopefully this bye week is going to get us rested up and good to go. San Francisco needs to worry, too. Even though they beat the Rams, they're 2-2, right? But they're not looking like they're Super Bowl quality.
Right. And I mean, Kaepernick's inexperience is kind of showing through. Even though he's hyped, Kaepernicking and meeting the president's wife, and she's Kaepernicking too, and he's doing all these commercials with McDonald's and Nike and all that. He still only started, 14, 13 games in the league? It's starting to show that maybe he's going to need some more time before he can talk to the Aaron Rodgers and even the Eli Mannings of the...
Are they still your Super Bowl pick?
I think I'm going to have to go with the Broncos, I'm a bandwagon fan.
You're changing your Super Bowl pick?
It's just crazy.
When should we schedule in your next Super Bowl pick? Maybe you're a curse.
3 weeks from now.
Perhaps you're a curse.
Hey, I chose San Jose.
I feel bad for San Jose. Let's talk about this week. This week is, I think, pretty stacked. We got some good matchups up there. Nothing like we didn't talk about Ed Reed going back to, wow, I just realized this. Both Reeds had their reunions last week, but Ed Reed going back to Baltimore
spelled differently, but
with Ray Lewis.
Let that one slide.
With Ray Lewis on the sidelines for that game. That was pretty cool to see. And then Andy Reid going back to Philly, demolishing them, by the way, with Donovan McNabb being honored. So that was pretty cool last week. This week, not that much in terms of those sentimental matchups. But we got some great football matchups. We have 2 games of the week again this week, so everyone get ready. New England versus Atlanta. This will be the Sunday night game on NBC. Patriots are 3-0. Remember I said Tom Brady, Patriots, 3-0.
He's doing his thing.
Atlanta is, I believe, 2-1 after the loss to the... Oh, are they 1-2?
They lost to the Saints.
They lost to the Saints and the Dolphins.
Dolphins beat the Falcons?
Yeah, the Dolphins are 3-0. Wow. Okay,
Gurveer, help us out.
So the Falcons really need to get on their horse.
They don't look like a 1-2 team.
No, for sure.
Like you said, right? They lost to good teams, kind of like Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to panic.
So, Patriots, Falcons. I am taking, of course, the Patriots in a close one.
Surprise.
By 7. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. but I think New England's defense will hold down Atlanta long enough for Tom Brady to do his thing. And I think you can start to see that those new receivers are starting to gel in New England. Who do you got, OT?
24-17 Falcons. I think, like Swap said, the New England offense is starting to come into its own, but Danny Amendola is still on 100%, and Julio Jones is still Julio Jones. If they can get Roddy White going, just 1 or 2 touchdowns, 10 catches.
Julio Jones has knee problems. He's still going to play, but
he's still going to play. He's still going to have 100 yards. Trust me, he's good.
He better. He's on my fantasy team. Gurveer, who are you picking?
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Patriots too. I'm going to say 30-21 Patriots. I think the Falcons, they don't have enough depth yet, and I think Tom Brady.
I don't know. You're saying the Falcons don't have enough.
No, I'm talking about the running game though.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
but then still.
Yeah, the running game's hurting a bit, and I think that if the running game was better with Steven Jackson in the lineup, then they could probably overpower the Patriots with the dual threat. But like right now, I don't think they have enough keys to beat Tom Brady and the Patriots yet.
Fair point. Israel, who you got?
I think I'll take Atlanta by 4. I mean, the Patriots, if you look at their track record so far, a couple of close games against the Bills and the Jets. So,
good point.
So we have 2 Falcons and 2 Patriots?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So we're split. No unanimous votes.
I'm just going with Israel, because he's
picking Israel. He went 1-1. The dude got lucky. Okay.
Wait, if we making a no, okay.
Not making a what?
Is Neda making a thing?
Neda?
I'll go with what Israel picked.
She means she'll go with what I picked, but
so Neda trying to avoid the OT, pulling an OT with the NFL picks. The second game of the week will be, and thank God that ESPN finally got a really good Monday night game because they've been suffering. Miami Dolphins 3-0 against the New Orleans Saints 3-0.
Who saw this coming?
I thought New Orleans was definitely going to be 3-0, but I don't know about Miami. They haven't played anyone great other than Atlanta, so
It's weird because Miami actually doesn't have a running game right now.
I know, but their quarterback amazing.
So now he's amazing. He's in his second year, and now he's amazing.
No, but okay, their quarterback is decent, right? Everyone thought that he would be good, and you were talking so much about Hartline being amazing.
Yeah, and Mike Wallace,
Mike Wallace.
They give him the ball, he's all right.
They don't have a running game. They got rid of Bush. But their defense is supposed to be really good, I think.
Right. Defense is up there now. So
I'm still taking the Saints, and you're going to like this. I'm taking the Saints by 20.
Wow.
Finally, a bold prediction.
Yeah.
That's what we should make this, bold predictions.
Bold predictions. So Saints by 20.
Okay. And if Saints by 20. Okay. Saints, Dolphins. I'm going to have to go with the Saints just because offense is too high-powered. Like I said, New Orleans has no run game. They have a decent passing game, but as bad as the Saints defense is, I think they can actually stop that. So I'm going to go with Saints by 10.
Okay. And I'm also going to go 35-24 for the Saints. I think Saints are just going to overpower the Dolphins. And it's going to be, it's not going to be that close of a game, but it'll be an okay-ish game for the most part until the fourth quarter.
Bring them back to earth.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just go with Gurveer. I think that's the pick that makes the most sense. Saints by 10.
Is this unanimous?
Isn't that
Saints,
come on,
Saints,
go against
Saints.
the norm. Go against the norm.
Just say Dolphins. You don't have to know what you're saying. Just say Dolphins.
Okay, I officially picked the Dolphins.
There you go. So all you Miami fans, Neda's got your back.
I think she might win. I think I'll change my mind. No, I'm just kidding.
I still have the boldest prediction, though. Saints by 20. Guys, that was the games of the week. Anything else on the NFL you want to talk about?
Yes, sir. Actually, 2 kind of bad stories. Adam Smith, first of all. He checked into rehab or rehabilitation facility, as they called it. He was arrested last week for drinking and driving.
DUI.
Suspected DUI. Let's not speculate. But yeah,
he's just taken to rehab for no reason.
He's taking. Is he actually? He likes in rehab?
He likes the food.
Is he actually in rehab?
Well, he's not playing. That's for sure.
You know how these things go. But young man, he's taking his time to go. Correct his demons. So we wish him all the best, and we hope he's back on the field. Because last season, I think he had 20.5 sacks or something like that.
He was a beast.
Yeah, he was top 5 in sacks, and maybe in his 3rd or 4th season. So we hope he comes back soon. And another crazy story with another young pass rusher is Von Miller, who's already suspended 6 games by the league for recreational drug use. And it came out this week that there was a story where it was found out that he actually tried to fake the test.
He tried to cheat the test with the urine collector. So I don't know what that means.
He probably signed something for him, and it was just crazy because if you think about track and field or athletics and how the whole like urine test thing goes, and you kind of hear the story, you're just like, does the NFL need to take this more seriously? And 6 games is a lot of games, especially seeing as we only play 16, right? But and he plays for the Broncos, so they don't really necessarily need him. But he's a young player, and we just want him to actually like get back on the field and play, right?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm almost tired of these performances. Was Von Miller?
It was recreational drug use.
Okay, so it wasn't performance.
Smoked weed.
Okay, it's not fine, but I mean, like,
not for the first time.
So many drug stories going around these days.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess that's sports.
Let's talk Blitz, Oti. 1 minute Blitz. Let's go.
1 minute Blitz. Okay. So
and for those of you who don't know, and you're just watching for the first time, the 1 minute Blitz is never just 1 minute.
It's never just 1 minute. You know why? Because everyone wants to chime in. They never let me have this time. This is supposed to be my time. It started off as my time, my 1 minute, where you just hear my voice and just connect with me, and we can just be together. But they always want to jump in, so we're gonna get right into it. This week's episode of the Blitz is actually gonna have a really good basketball flavor, because I want Neda to know I can really talk basketball. So we're gonna start off with the 2016 All-Star Game, which is coming to Toronto. So shout out to whoever made that happen, Maple Leaf Sports, and whoever owns the Raptors or whatever. So 2016 is coming to Toronto. We're all going to be graduated at that point. We're all old.
Are we?
Old folks. Hopefully.
We're
all going to be graduated. Israel's the young one here, so we're all going to be graduated.
Young one too.
I'm pretty young. So it's coming to Toronto. We'll have some money. We'll all get hotels. Do the whole big. We'll make it big. We'll do it big. It's also going to be the Raptors' 20th anniversary, so it's going to be a lot of celebration going on, actually. So it's going to be a fun time. The All-Star Game is going to happen at the ACC, right, as expected. And the NBA Jam Session and the dunk contest, all that is going to happen at the Metro Toronto Convention Center.
That was pretty stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, but we'll see. How
Can they even, fit that in there?
I don't know. They just want to make it.
Oh.
I think they picked the biggest venue where they can make the most money.
Why not the Rogers Center? And besides, why not the ACC? That's a huge venue. Anyways, keep going.
I might not have my facts all right, but I believe this is how it's going. See, it's not 1 minute because they want to chime in. But anyway, moving on. So there's a report coming out that the NBA or some teams in the NBA think about putting nicknames on the back of jerseys. So we're just going to go around the room and just say our nickname, what our nickname is. Gurveer, what's your nickname?
My nickname would be G Dizzle.
Okay,
just because I made that up right
now.
now.
We're going to put down your in the court jersey. Because we do 5-on-5 basketball, this is our team in the building right now.
There we go.
Anyway, Israel, what's your nickname?
The Expert.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Neda, what's your nickname?
I'm going to go with Notorious Neda.
I could tell.
When I was in the 5th grade, they called me the sniper because I'd always be offside standing with the puck near the net. So, sniper.
Look at that. Okay, now I go by +1, which is also my rap name, but I don't have...
And
I
please,
hung up my
folks,
mic
if
already.
you can just spend 4 or 5 hours trying to find his rap, because I can't find it, but it's so funny. You got to watch it.
Oh, man. Okay. Moving on. Dwayne Wade versus Kevin Durant. 2 of the top 10 players, in my opinion, in the league right now, had a little social media feud. It's crazy how social media goes these days. So basically, Kevin Durant said James Harden should take Dwayne Wade's place in the top 10 players in the league. Now, I don't know how much you guys know about basketball, but you agreed?
Easily.
How many rings does Harden have?
Yeah, but doesn't, it's
Zero?
like saying
Zero?
when Andrew Wiggins comes into the league,
He's automatically top 10?
maybe, if he's good. And James Harden's been around for a while, okay?
Dude, Wade has shown that he can still take over a game if he wants to. Not consistently. He's always hurt.
So if you put Harden and Wade one-on-one right now, who's winning?
Who's winning?
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade.
Why?
I'm telling you, his defense is better than James Harden's defense.
He's on the decline. I don't know. I'm gonna stick up with Kevin Durant for this one.
Listen, James
Wade
Harden
got it because probably he got the more popular vote. But
Wade, before LeBron came to town, before Bosh came to town, Wade took
that
Miami.
was fine, but that was 4 years ago.
Yeah,
And he took Miami where? That was 8 years ago.
He won.
They weren't doing anything for a couple of years until LeBron came.
Listen, all James Harden has going for him is his beard and the fact that he's the only.
The beard is a
player.
big thing. I
He's
don't
only,
know why.
okay, now he has Howard, right? He has
Jeremy Lin,
Parsons, all that in Houston. Let's see what he does. I don't think he's a top 10. If he's a top 10 player, Wade's not the one leading the list. That's all I'm saying. Anyone else want to argue this? Because I can do this all day.
No, honestly, I agree with you. Wade is a Wade's still a more complete player.
Gurveer's a suck up.
No, I mean,
Yeah, Gurveer, say it. Wait.
yeah, I agree with Wade. I mean, Wade's still a more complete player, and he is more hurt more often, and he's not as consistent. But one-on-one, I think he'd beat James Harden.
Thank you. Gurveer knows. Anyway, moving on. So I'm going to talk a little bit about young players in the NBA this week, and there's some good stories, some bad stories, and some pretty funny stories. So on the good side, we had 2 players sign max contracts this week. Paul George, everyone's new favorite player, and DeMarcus Cousins, one of the most controversial players in the league. He signed a max contract with the Kings, so I guess they believe in him.
The Kings can afford it. Okay, keep going. I got a story about the Kings I need to bring out.
I guess they see him as the franchise player now because they gave him a max contract. He was going into his last year of his rookie deal, and now he's $60 to $80 million in max contract. So that's pretty interesting. People were kind of talking about if they might let him go next season, and he is one of the most talented centers in the league, and I guess the Kings feel they can control him because his troubles are not on the court, they're off the court, or he does some crazy stuff from time to time. Well, anyway, on the bad side, Brandon Jennings, on the other hand, got punched in the face by the game at a party. So while his peers were getting big max contracts, he was celebrating his birthday, I think. And he got punched in the face by the game. So I found that to be pretty funny. I thought they were friends.
The game? Like, G-Unit the game?
The G-Unit, well, former
G-Unit, yeah.
And Swap just flexed his muscles. He knows the rap game. He knows the rap game. And then on the other hand, Blake Griffin. So Blake Griffin had a son this week, or a baby, I'm not sure.
This is a crazy story.
It's a crazy story because the woman, his baby mama, since they're not married, is Matt Leinert's baby mama, since they're not married. So it's a little weird, I didn't imagine Blake Griffin and Matt Leinart had the same taste.
It's the Oklahoma-USC rivalry, I'm telling you.
You can look at it that way, but I just didn't think they had the same taste. It's weird. But anyways, so she's a basketball player. She gave birth to both their babies. So I guess in 20 years, 19 years, we'll be hearing about the next set of basketball and football players out there.
For sure.
Yes, and moving on from basketball, moving on to a couple other sports. UFC was in Toronto this past weekend. John Bone Jones successfully defended his lightweight title over Alexander Gustafsson. There's been talk that maybe UFC gives him too much free reign to pick his opponents. So his next fight has already been decided, and it's actually going to be the number 1 contender, who goes by the name of Glover Teixeira. So that's going to be a better fight, apparently.
I don't know much about the UFC, so I can't really.
Yeah, but
yay!
A better fight than Gustafsson Jones. UFC fans will say that was a classic. So
well, it was a classic in terms of they didn't expect Gustafsson to take him all the way, and then for it to be a unanimous decision, but. Yeah. He wasn't number 1 contender.
It was definitely a grueling fight. It was exciting the whole time. Gustafsson really challenged Jones. I don't think it's the last we're going to hear of Gustafsson, but of course they had already said previous to the fight that Glover Teixeira was going to get a shot. Right. I guess not. They did it so as to not upset Glover Teixeira, and maybe he does beat Jones, maybe he doesn't. But if Teixeira doesn't turn out to be so great in trying to challenge John Jones, then at least they know that they can go back to Gustafsson in the future.
Right. Okay. So, but shout out to John Bone Jones, and UFC was in Toronto. I actually didn't even know that.
You got to pay attention, man.
I guess so. Money team. Floyd Mayweather. I know we talked about the fight last week. He, again, for those who
I'm sorry, Israel just checked his watch because this is now the 7-minute blitz.
I promise I'll do better next time. So he actually made $41 million from that one fight. $41 million. And on top of that, he got a free car from MGM Grand.
Ooh. Well, there's still money in that sport.
And that car's worth $1 million, so $42 million just from one fight.
Good for him.
Anyways, money team.
Okay, so we got to wrap up the show, but I got a quick story on the Kings that you will appreciate, OT. So I don't know how much you guys know about the Kings in the recent time, but there's a big story about them getting sold. The Maloups wanted to sell them, and that they were going to get moved to Seattle. Chris Webber had his emotional plea to kind of bring them back, and he brought together a group to keep the Kings in Sacramento, which is why I was so surprised they were able to sign DeMarcus Cousins to a max deal. Now, way back when, for those of you that are Israel, maybe this was before your time, but back in the
is this the Shaq story?
Thanks for ruining it. Back in the Showtime days of the Lakers, and the awesome rivalry between the Lakers and the Kings, Shaquille O'Neal famously quoted
I know this one.
saying that instead of the Sacramento Kings, he used the feminine version, the Sacramento Queens. Well, it turns out that Shaquille O'Neal is now a part owner of said Queens. And it'll be very interesting to see what the Kings fans think of that.
People change their opinions, Swap.
I thought it was a funny story. That's all.
People dissed our show after the first one. Look where we are now.
Big time.
Yeah,
We're big time.
saying.
So we got to get one of those. We got to get a big time song for the
That's
outro
what I'm
next week.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that concludes In the Core, but we want to wrap it up on an important note for all of you baseball fans. Something probably once in a lifetime happened yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Last night.
Last night, right? Yeah. The Yankees, of course, had their final home game, and in the 8th inning, Joe Girardi brought out the greatest closer ever to pitch, and in my opinion, one of the greatest Yankees ever, Mariano Rivera. He closed out the game to a standing ovation. Actually, he didn't close out the game.
He did not.
No, so Israel, tell us what happened, because this is a cool story.
So Andy Pettitte went out to go get him.
And Derek Jeter, right?
And Derek Jeter went out to go get him. And, you know how the manager walks out and takes the ball. So instead, Derek Jeter and Andy Pettitte, who's also retiring, by the way,
Yeah,
also
Andy Pettitte retiring.
they walked out and they took the ball from Rivera. And it was probably the emotional climax of what has been an amazing journey for Rivera in this 2013 season. And it's the end of an era. And I think this particular incident just makes it all the more poignant.
I think they got really lucky with everything that happened because we knew for sure that it was going to be his last game. I mean, they could have been in a situation where they weren't sure if it's going to be his last game. They might have made it into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. We also had the fact that they were losing also was interesting because if they were winning, they probably would have left him in to get the last save, and he wouldn't have had that ovation. He wouldn't have had Jeter and Pettitte coming out. So that was actually really lucky for them.
An amazing story. He went out to. He just sat by himself in the dugout after the game just to ponder on what was going on. Then he went out to take some dirt from the mound, put it in his hand, and you can be sure that's going on a shelf.
I can tell he's been listening to that Drake album.
Anyways, guys, we
Nothing
have some special outro music for you today in honor of Mariano Rivera. We'll let you guess the song or use that Shazam app to figure out what it is, but I'm sure you baseball fans already know what we're talking about. It's been a great show. We'll be back next week, hopefully on Thursday next week instead of, I guess this is turning into Saturday. Special thanks to our guest host, and hopefully she'll be back soon, Neda, giving us amazing hockey talk.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always a good thanks to the amazingly intellectual, freakishly smart baseball guru, and I'm getting impressions this week, but still, Israel Gonzales.
Good evening, and thank you for listening to me.
America.
The extremely awkward and always knows when to say something that no one's expecting, the producer of the show, who's going to be up late tonight putting this together. Sorry, Gurveer.
Oh, yes. Up late all night.
Awkward as ever.
Yeah.
The man who learned more about hockey than anyone ever could possibly learn about hockey in one show, OT.
It's crazy. I think I'm actually going to watch some hockey this season. So.
There you go. Hockey night in Canada. Anyone who's born in Canada knows how important this is. Tuesday night. Toronto at Montreal. The NHL is back, folks. We will see you next week, and enjoy.